What's up, good guys, good ladies, good people? It is the Bad Wolf once again, your man in black, the man of international mystery. Let's get into it. So, before I get started, once again, some people ask me, how come you don't do a whole lot of shows or go on other people's podcasts, other gurus and get everybody together? Well, today on Facebook was just another reason why I don't. I actually tried to reach out to one of these gurus. I won't mention their names. Was nice, commenting, we're laughing back and forth. And then suddenly, even though they didn't know exactly who I was, thought I was a regular person, ego kicks in. Oh, this is what I do, and I'm this, and la la la. Delete, block, gone. Bye bye, ta ta. Because why? Because once again, so many people out here they just have their egos in it. My ego is not in it. My ego is pretty small in all actuality, or medium, I guess, normal with other people. But I don't have time for anybody out there who wants to make other people feel small or less, or that you're some god. Everybody puts on their drawers, underwear, panties, or maybe don't wear any, the same way as other people. So that's why you guys have not ever seen me on my channel disrespect like anybody who didn't outwardly deserve it, which is pretty much nobody, because I don't really have anybody on my channel like that. And I try not to be on anybody else's channel unless they're good people. So once again, guys, be careful with these gurus out here. They get their little taste of fame and it goes to their head. Now, don't get me wrong. I will definitely say that there is such a thing as celebrity skin. Okay, what is that? Well, celebrity skin is where when you have so many people throwing themselves at you and whatever else, you've got a couple of your little accomplishments, you start to ride your own fame wave, and you have to kind of harden your skin against the various attacks that people have. Something that I had to learn about because I used to carry my heart on my sleeve. Now I really almost don't even care whatsoever what anybody negatively writes in my comment section or whatever else because I find it cute. I think that these people are hurt, they're damaged, they're emotional, they don't understand these things. They're coming from a emotional perspective, not a legal court or whatever. Even some of these judges, and they know the law. Even some of these police officers, and they know some of the state level laws, but they don't know the Constitution. They don't know how things work outside of their little cubicle. So inside their little cages, they feel a certain type of way, and that's fine, but that's not the real world. So once again, guys, stay away from some of these off-brand gurus who disrespect you, talk negatively. I'm not saying that they don't still have good information. Some of them, not all, not all of what they're doing is good. Okay, don't just start listening to everybody and believing 100% of what anybody says. Matter of fact, you should double check even the work I give you. Anything you buy from me, double check it for yourself. Don't do anything somebody just wants you to do because you are, you're a believer of theirs or a follower of theirs or whatever else. You, at the end of the day, have to have your own discernment. And this also goes out to the ladies out there. Ladies, like y'all really need to start increasing your level of discernment. And I'm only saying this because even today, I'm matching energy this year forward with everybody, whether it's a friend, girlfriend, kids, whatever else. I'm matching energy. You're nice and you check on me. I'm nice and I check on you. You disrespect me. I'm not necessarily going to disrespect you back. I'm just going to take my ball and go home. That's how everybody should be moving. So, ladies, all I can say is, if a guy's not matching your energy level, it's not worth it. Guys, if ladies aren't matching your energy level, it's not worth it. But everybody needs to get off this horse of I need all these super high qualifications when most of the people out there are fucking average as shit. Putting on a little bit of makeup and then thinking that you're a 10, that's booty. Having a little podcast or a little whatever else, popping bottles at the club, throwing on a $200 shirt, and then expecting that you should just get any girl you want. That's booty. So many people need to grow up. This is why I came up with the term adult sized boys and adult sized girls. There are so many people. So I cut, and like I said, from this point forward, I'm cutting off all those people. Anybody who moves like that, I just don't have. the time and energy for it. Now, because I this is not all about what the video is about, because I will talk more about this on Badwolf Unrestricted. So join me over there for more conversations like this. So I digress. Let's get into it. Don't forget to hit that bell, like, and subscribe, and let's get into it, tribe. This particular video is going to be and is the TF about certificate of exemption. But as you see, I already did one on New York. We're going over to Wisconsin. All right, so beer, cheese, and brats. Let's go take a look over there and see what their Department of Revenue is talking about. Because in when I did the New York one, I did mention Wisconsin. So I got a couple of messages on doing one there because I know a number of people are in that particular state, but we've got people all over. And no, I'm not going to do like right to travel, do one of these for every single state, but I'll do these two and then you do your own. So let's take a look. Appreciate you guys for listening to me. Appreciate you my listening to my little rants sometime. I just like to keep it real, guys. Like life is not always perfect. I'm not here to have like a perfectly scripted thing. This is always I have never had a script for any of these videos. It is just me talking, flowing, and giving you guys the real and trying to show you guys that it's okay to be real. It's okay to. There's even been times where I shaved and I didn't even put like makeup or Vaseline and look all pretty and whatever else. Be real, be you guys. That's why I urge a lot of females out there to just be real. Stop listening to social engineering. Wear less makeup, if any. I'm not saying lower your expectations, but if your expectations are too high, lower them to normal. Adjust them. We'll say adjust. Adjust them to normal. Okay? Be real. That's it. And guys, I know you're still gonna go out there and chase booty because yeah, I can't tell you not to do something. But if you're gonna be a hoe, then at least go for the hoes. Don't play with the good girls or good women out there. Leave them be. Play with the hoes. Stay in that lane. And I'm not an angel. At least I wasn't. So I'm just saying I'm learning. I've learned. I've grown up a lot. So let's get over there. We got it queued up. So let's take a look at Wisconsin's DOR, and because that's what they call it over there. So in New York, it was, what was I forgot what they call their agency. But if you're in Wisconsin, they call it a Department of Revenue. So each state is gonna call it something slightly different. So once again, you're gonna have to do that. But while we're here, take a look at this. On their site, for those that this applies for, look, they have unclaimed property. So you guys can come here and look if you're in this state or if you've been here or whatever else. And I believe this is not just home property. I believe this is for money or whatever else. All of that falls underneath this. Okay? Maybe from some bills you've paid or got refunds back that couldn't find you. And then they've got some other online services. All right. So here, for nonprofit organizations and government units, certificate of exempt status. So the other one was certificate of exemption in New York. This one they call certificate of exempt status. Okay. So it says, what is a certificate of exempt status number? What types of nonprofit organizations, et cetera, et cetera. So I'm going to let the AI just read through all of this. There's a lot of good information in here. And I'm trying to look for some key spots here. Where are they? Okay, right in here, number 6. Does not state. Okay, so yeah, that's what I wanted to look at because they talk about the 501c3. So one of the things I want to tell you guys right out of the gate is that organizations with the 501c3 determination, what they're really saying here is if your entity falls underneath this category. So if you have a 508c1a, you fall underneath the 501 category. They don't put the 508 on there because they don't like the 508. but your 508 qualifies for being under the 501 category. But what they're telling you here is that you'll need the determination letter. So if you have a 508 or a 501, but you don't have the official letter from them, um, you'll need to apply for that from the IRS to get these benefits and privileges for purchasing exempt. So, all right, so I'm gonna start it right here. I'm gonna let the AI read. She has a better voice than me.
Of exempt status, CES, number helps retailers identify organizations that qualify to make purchases exempt from Wisconsin sales and use tax. The Department of Revenue issued.
Now remember, you can find yours for your own state. I did New York. This is now Wisconsin. But now that you know the format, you can use this for your state. All right, so let's keep going.
Issues CES numbers to qualifying organizations. What types of nonprofit organizations and governmental units qualify for a CES number? The following types of nonprofit organizations and governmental units qualify for a CES number. Any nonprofit organization that is exempt from federal income tax under Section 501(c)(3) of the Internal Revenue Code, IRC, and has received a determination letter from the Internal Revenue Service, IRS. Such organizations are organized and operated exclusively for the following exempt purposes: religious, charitable, scientific, educational purposes, literary, testing for public safety, fostering national or international amateur sports competition, and preventing cruelty to children or animals. Churches and religious organizations that meet the requirements of 501(c)(3) of the IRC but are not required to apply for and obtain tax-exempt status from the IRS. Federal governmental units. Wisconsin governmental units, including counties, cities, villages, towns, and school districts. Any federally recognized American Indian tribe or band in Wisconsin. Federal and Wisconsin governmental units.
So, what types of nonprofit organizations and governmental units qualify for a CES number? Did you hear it in there? They said churches and religious organizations that meet the 501c3 of the Internal Revenue Code. Really should be the IRM, Internal Revenue Manual, but we'll leave that alone. But are not required to apply for and obtain tax exempt status from the IRS. So let's read this again. Churches and religious, what types of nonprofits qualify? So who qualifies for this? Your church, your 501c3, 508c1a, or religious organization that meets the 501c3 of the Internal Revenue Code, but are not required to apply for and obtain tax exempt status from the IRS. So they're telling you right here that you already, if you have those entities, you already are good to go. You can qualify just having this. You created your 501, your unincorporated entity that's religious, your religious trust, etc. qualifies.
Units, federally recognized American Indian tribes or bands, and out-of-state organizations, as described above, do not need a CES in order to make purchases exempt from tax. However, they may apply for a CES. Important note, effective February 20, 2021, the exemption for certain nonprofit organizations was amended, 2021 Wisconsin Act 1, to provide organizations with a 501(c)(3) determination letter from the IRS may make purchases exempt from sales and use tax. Churches and religious organizations meeting the requirements of Section 501(c)(3) of the IRC are allowed to make purchases exempt from sales and use tax, even if they do not have an IRS 501(c)(3) determination letter. Prior Wisconsin law was similar to the IRC code but did not include all types of organizations described under 501(c)(3). Is the department reviewing and reissuing new CES numbers as a result of 2021 Wisconsin Act 1? Yes, as a result of this law change, the department reviewed CES numbers issued in the past and issued a new 15-digit CES number beginning with 008 to qualifying organizations. If you feel you qualify and did not receive a new certificate, please contact us or reapply. See number 7. Retailers may only accept the 15-digit CES number from qualifying organizations making purchases exempt from Wisconsin sales and use tax. The former 6-digit CES numbers are no longer valid. Organizations with a CES number may only use the valid 15-digit CES number. Do all nonprofit organizations qualify for a CES number? No. Organizations that are not exempt under Section 501(c)(3) of the IRC will not be issued a CES number to make purchases exempt from sales and use tax. Examples include civic organizations, chambers of commerce, business or union organizations, fraternal or recreational groups, professional societies, social clubs or veteran organizations and their auxiliaries. See number 5 for information about an exemption for Wisconsin veterans organizations. Governmental units of other countries and states. Information on IRS requirements can be found at irs.gov/charities/charitable/index.html. Does a Wisconsin veterans organization need a CES number? For more information, see the article Exemption for State Veterans Organizations on page 14 of Wisconsin Tax Bulletin 201. Does an out-of-state nonprofit organization need a CES number? A qualifying out-of-state organization does not need a CES number to make purchases exempt from sales and use tax. A nonprofit organization qualifies for exemption on its purchases if it holds a 501(c)(3) determination letter from the IRS.
So if your entity out of state, okay, or in Wisconsin holds a determination letter, okay, you're good. You don't need the state of Wisconsin's CES letter. That's what they're saying. Like, hey, they're like, if you already have one, you're good. I mean, if you already have one from the IRS, a determination letter, you're good. And if you're from out of state and you've got one from the IRS, you're good. Okay?
IRS. Churches and religious organizations meeting the requirements of Section 501(c)(3) of the IRC are allowed to make purchases exempt from sales and use tax, even if they do not have an IRS 501(c)(3) determination letter. Note, this exemption does not apply to purchases made by state or local governmental units from other states, including non-Wisconsin public schools and school districts. It also does not apply to fraternal, professional, labor, or civic organizations, or social or recreational clubs. A qualifying out-of-state nonprofit organization may purchase items exempt from tax by providing the seller either of the following: a fully completed Wisconsin sales and use tax certificate, Form S-211 or S-211E, indicating the organization meets the requirements of Section 501(c)(3) of the IRC. The organization's CES number. The seller records the CES number on the billing notice or invoice and must retain a copy of the billing notice or invoice. Caution: penalties may apply if you use an exemption certificate in a manner that is prohibited by or inconsistent with the law or provides incorrect information to a seller. The penalty is $250 for each invoice or bill of sale related to the use of the incorrect exemption certificate. How do I apply for a CES number? Apply for a CES number by completing Form S-103, Application for Wisconsin Sales and Use Tax Certificate of Exempt Status. Include a copy of your organization's 501(c)(3) determination letter from the IRS. Caution: failure to provide adequate documentation with the application will result in delays, as we may have to request you submit supporting documentation. Exceptions. Churches and religious organizations that meet the requirements of 501(c)(3) are not required to provide a determination letter.
So even though they mentioned that you should have one when applying for the form, they're basically down here then saying, but if you have the letter from the IRS, you're good. And when you buy things, show the merchant or supplier or grocery store clerk or whatever it is that you have that letter.
Letter. Federal and Wisconsin governmental units, or a federally recognized American Indian tribe or band in Wisconsin, generally only need to submit the application.
Okay. And obviously, yeah, if you're already recorded, recognized by the gov, they're saying, yeah, just turn in the application. We're going to give it to you. They're not. They're just like, yeah, you're good. All right. So let's see. Should we take a look at the application a little bit more? Let's see if have a link to it. So let's take a just a quick gander at it. Okay. So let's pop back over there. All right. Form is for certain nonprofit organizations. See your site. So name of your organization, address, normal stuff, website if any, phone, type of organization. So so even though they didn't mention it, it's kind of glad we did take a look at this. So now we can see, look, okay, you can check off religious. Is your entity educational, scientific, charitable, youth, prevention of cruelty to children or animals? Those all qualify. Cemeteries qualify. 501c2 as described under whatever section for that. United States governmental unit, any federally recognized tribe or band. Okay, so you'd have to pick one of these. Okay, so it looks like a lot of these other places. Or, okay, possibly, I can't tell you for sure but if you're, so if you didn't want to check off, for religious, for your 508c1a, you could also check here, describe 508c1a, possibly that, you're going to have additional information if you try to do it underneath your own person, that you're a national and whatever else. I don't know if that would fly. Probably best to use your entity and either put it here under L or go with A. You're still going to need the IRS. Well, I guess if you have the IRS letter, you won't need this. But if you don't, then this is what you're going to have, and depending on your structure, you may have to use this form by itself. Okay, 501c3. Your EIN, sign. Okay, the purpose. All right, then I guess you can always contact them if you have any deeper questions. So, all right, guys. Well, that is it. Short, pretty sweet. Sweet, sometimes short. And that's what it is. So, if you guys are looking to be tax exempt, once again, this follows up the New York video, and now you guys know that it exists. This is how this is what it is when you see somebody going out there and they've got that little slip in front of you in line, and all of a sudden they start taking off the tax for that person. Their entity applied for a certificate of exemption status. So the next video I make, I will take a look in how to get the letter, possibly. Shall we do that? All right, guys, take care. Stay warm, stay beautiful, stay awesome, stay amazing, stay out of trouble, and I'll talk to you guys later. Hit that bell and like on the way out. I'll do the rest.